They have arrived here at Value City Arena. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. First, the visitors from West Lafayette.
Well, you see Ronnie Johnson, Sterling Carter, but how about Eric Peck? In the starting lineup, only averages 4.3 points, but in the lineup with his rebounding, averaging about 4.5. So a strategic change for Matt Painter.
A.J. Hammons had a huge game against Ohio State December 31st. For Thad Matta's Ohio State Buckeyes, this is now the third straight game that Sam Thompson getting the start.
Yeah, usual suspects, but how about Amir Williams at Iowa, 23 minutes, 12 points. But check this out, 0 rebounds. He can't do that against this Purdue team this evening.
Now, this is why it's all so important. We've reached the back half of the Big Ten season. Already today, Michigan slipping up, losing on the road against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes played a magnificent game. And Northwestern, they had their bubble burst a little bit. They lost at home. Congratulations to Nebraska. The Cornhuskers winning on the road for the first time all season long. Familiar names and faces working the sidelines. You got Matt Painter, now in his 9th season, 190 wins at his alma mater, 5 wins career against Ohio State, and of course Thad Matta. He is third in terms of tenure among Big Ten coaches, now in his 10th go-round here in Columbus. All right, ready to do this. Ohio State winning on the road December 31st against the Boilermakers. 78-69. LaQuinton Ross, Aaron Kraft both had big games. Tap is won by the guys wearing the white uniforms.
And very important for Purdue, 18 turnovers in their game, 15 points for Ohio State. They have to take better care of the basketball if they want to walk out of Value City Arena with the W.
Ohio State turns it over first time they touch it. Now the Boilermakers, you'll have to wonder about their legs. Last time out on Wednesday, they played a 3-overtime game against Minnesota.
Always tough to come back after an emotional and physical draining game like that. But heck, these are 18 to 22-year-old young men. They shouldn't be tired, Eric.
All right. A.J. Hammons played 46 minutes on Wednesday. Shot clock down to 6. First shot of the game is clanked by Sterling Carter, but a rebound inside by the guy who's supposed to get those rebounds. Eric Peck, extra possession. Turnover. Steal for Eric Kraft.
Guess who? I mean, at the right place at the right time, but also anticipating where the pass was at. I think we'll be calling his name a lot this evening.
Ohio State's first shot missed by Lenzel Smith, but an offensive rebound. Last time the Buckeyes played on this court, they lost against Penn State. Now they've since gone on the road and had impressive wins against Wisconsin and Iowa.
Well, you know, it's interesting, too, Eric. Going on the road, sometimes you can concentrate a little bit more. You don't have all the things that nag you when you're at home. So 2 very good wins, needed wins for Ohio State.
Hammons with the block shot. Tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with Ohio State with 6 on the shot clock. Let's take a look at our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile. They went the extra mile and then some. 3 overtimes for the first time in Mackey Arena history, and it was worth their while. They got the win. They did not shoot free throws well. We'll get into that as this game progresses. Shot clock winding ground. Ross misses. Williams misses the tap. Still scoreless. Close to 2 minutes into this one. Ronnie Johnson explodes. Misses the layup, but Hammons cleans up the mess.
And when you're Purdue, get the ball up quick, attack this Ohio State team before the defense gets set. And you see right there, because you don't match up with someone, even if you miss the shot, you're able to get an offensive rebound. Great job that time by Purdue in their transition offense.
Ross off the back of the iron. Boilermakers 14-9 overall, 4-6 in Big Ten play. Hammons inside the paint. He's playing the best basketball of his career over the last 2 weeks.
Position. That's all about A.J. Hammons. That time able to seal Amir Williams deep. And when he gets it down there, we've seen in the past, you can't stop it. And when his mind is in the right place, At 7 foot, he has a lot of post moves down low. You see a foul right there on Tyrone Johnson. So Amir Williams has to do a better job of rooting him out a little bit further. But also, you have to have pressure on the pass. As you see the pass go inside, Linzel Smith, hands are down a little bit. So that allows a direct pass right inside.
A.J. Hammonds has all 4 points in today's game.
Talking to Tyrone Johnson a little bit earlier, he said it was important to establish A.J. Hammonds early.
Tough turnaround. Thompson hits the front of the iron. Buckeyes still scoreless. 3.5 minutes into this one.
But good shot. Ohio State has had a few good looks at it, not able to knock him down. So you have to continue to take those shots.
Ronnie Johnson gets in the paint, throws up a floater, and gets a nice roll. A 6-0 lead for the Boilermakers. And the fans here at Value Seat Arena, who the last time they saw the Buckeyes in person, saw them lose against Penn State, get a little restless early in this one.
Well, the fans understand how important it is to come back off of 2 outstanding victories, but you have to take care of home court. So this is an important game.
Oh, well, that'll work. Aaron Kraft finds Sam Thompson for the Buckeyes' first 2 points.
Well, if you want to get a basket, there's no better way than get an alley-oop to Sam Thompson. I think that energizes not only offensively, but defensively. Let's see if the energy picks up for the Buckeyes.
Hammonds directing traffic now. Contested shot, run down in the corner by Thompson. Kraft gets a screen from Williams and a whistle at the free throw line. It's going to be a hold on Ronnie Johnson. Well, Ohio State finally their first field goal. I don't know why they call him Sam Thompson. They should call him Slam. Almost 5 minutes into this one, and the visitors, the Purdue Boilermakers, on top of Ohio State by a score of 6-2. With my partner Jim Jackson, I'm Eric Collins. I want to talk about A.J. Hammonds. Off to a nice start so far in this one.
It's important for A.J. Hammonds to be involved early on. And the reason why I say that, Eric, is because sometimes he can lose interest. But you don't lose interest when you get touches and you score early, 4 early points. But that also energizes him on the defensive end, because when this young man is focused and he's playing well inside, this is a totally different Purdue Boilermaker team. So look for A.J. Hammonds to continue to get touches. Even if he doesn't score, you have to honor his scoring inside, and he can open up other avenues and opportunities for his teammates.
He's going to get an early blow. He's replaced by Jay Simpson. Simpson now guarding Amir Williams. Fresh shot clock for the Buckeyes to work with. Buckeyes only score coming on an alley-oop. Aaron Kraft to Sam Thompson. Power dribbling Williams finishes with 2 hands.
And the play all set up. Excellent screen and roll that time by Sam Thompson and Amir Williams. But it was 2 dribbles to the middle, which allowed enough space to clear for Amir Williams inside.
Simpson inside, rejected. Good play on both ends of the floor by Williams. Buckeyes still with their starting 5. Boilermakers have brought in Basil Smotherman. Linzel Smith is pushed on his way to the cup. Foul on the floor.
Eric, in the pick and roll, it's so important that the guard maintain his dribble. In particular, 2 dribbles that time by Linzel Smith allowed the play to develop. A lot of times guards will pick it up after 1 dribble. Well, then you don't have enough space, and the defense doesn't honor the dribble, and that pass back is not there. So coaches always say take 2 dribbles off the pick and roll. That will allow the play to open up.
Both Buckeye baskets have been 2-handed dunks. Amir Williams with the reverse to tie it at 6.
Yeah, excellent offense that time. Cleared the corner by Ohio State. That time you didn't have any help defense, knowing that Linzel Smith is a shooter. The big had to step out that 3. Once again, Amir Williams rolling to the basket.
Boilermakers playing with Bryson Scott and Kendall Stevens into the game. This is Smotherman. Over to Stevens. So there's 4 freshmen on the floor for the Boilermakers, along with the senior Tyrone Johnson. Simpson creates space, misses with the left hand. LaQuinton Ross finishes with the finger roll. Purdue forced to call a timeout as the Buckeyes are getting to the rim, all 4 their field goals, either dunks or layups. Nice start for Ohio State offensively. They've been able to get to the rim effectively. They're on an 8-0 run after the Boilermakers began the game with a 6-0 run.
Yeah, but that last basket for Ohio State was just too easy. If you're Matt Painter, I'm sure in that timeout he talked to his guys about, hey, listen, we miss a shot, get back in transition.
Shannon Scott into the game, pokes it away, gets the steal. Trey McDonald has it ripped away. Good defense by Smotherman.
There you go. Now you get back and stop to get a chance to score on this end.
And a travel as Jay Simpson started his move. Here's today's Allstate Insurance Mayhem Index. It's all about LaQuinton Ross and what he did against the Boilermakers New Year's Eve day at Purdue. 25 points, a career high. A career high 9 free throws. And look at the board work.
Well, you know, the Quentin Ross will have you scratching his head because you see those type of numbers. You say, why isn't he more consistent? It doesn't have to be 25. It could be 18 and 7. And sometimes he floats in and out. But he has that type of talent. And for this Buckeye team to continue to get better, he's the main guy that can create his own shot and be a threat. You just want that consistency because he has the talent.
Smith, lefty jumper, that's good. Long 2-pointer for the senior. It's a 10-0 run now for the Buckeyes.
And that's a big reason why that jump shot from Linzel, Shannon Scott with the quick hands, that they've been able to win on the road. Linzel Smith Jr. knocking down shots, and now he's shooting with a lot more confidence than he was during that losing streak.
Smith took it really hard when the Buckeyes lost here at home against Penn State. Tyrone Johnson with the miss. Offensive rebound, Scott. Fresh shot clock for the Boilermakers. Here's the freshman Stevens. That's what he does. He's a sniper from long range.
And does it well. Against Minnesota early in that game and for the better part of the second half, when Purdue were making their run, it was behind Kendall Stevens knocking down open shots. Another dimension he adds to a team that's not particularly a great shooting three-point team, but that young man, if he gets hot, as good as anybody.
And Ross is grabbed on his way through the paint. He's going to go to the free throw line.
Well, you have to keep up how far he is behind the line right there, okay? He's a catch-and-shoot player. He has confidence. More importantly, the coaching staff has confidence in what he can do.
Now it's been the freshmen as of late that have stepped up for Matt Painter's Boilermakers. They're going to need to keep on keeping on. They've got a 1-point deficit stare them face against the Buckeyes. 11:43 remaining in our first half. Purdue scored the game's first 6 points. Then the Buckeyes came back with 10 in a row. Most recently, a Kendall Stevens three-pointer. It's a 10-9 lead for Ohio State. Second meeting of the season. Buckeyes and Boilermakers. Quentin Ross shooting a pair. Bangs in the first. 3 points for Quentin Ross. Leads the team in scoring. A little bit over 14 points per ball game. Rayfeld Davis into the game for Purdue. Quentin Ross leaves for Ohio State. Mark Loving comes on for the Buckeyes. Amadeo Della Valle into the game for Ohio State. Johnson, Smotherman, Stevens, Davis, Hammonds, the 5 on the floor for the Boilermakers. Here's Hammonds working against Trey McDonald, sweeps to the lane. Davis had it, still has it, able to power it in.
But what we see early on, another offensive rebound for Purdue. An area of concern for this Ohio State team because in the first game, Purdue had 11 offensive rebounds. So when you're struggling sometimes shooting the basketball, second chance points keeps you in the game. It allows you to hang around a little bit. So Ohio State has to do a better job of putting the body on someone and completing their defensive stance.
Della Valle over to Kraft. Loving the offensive rebound. McDonald blocked away by Hammonds. And there's going to be a foul on McDonald. Trying to create space. He reached out that right hand. And called for the personal foul is first.
Well, a lot of big bodies inside going after this offensive rebound. Again, good defense by Purdue. Block shot, and right here at the end by McDonald with the elbow. But here's the thing. Aaron Crabb didn't hesitate with the shot here. I saw this in the Iowa game. Stepped up and made 2 big threes against the zone. You miss, but you take the shot on rotation. Everybody's moving. It opens up the offensive rebound. When you don't take the shot, you try to get closer. Bad shot, turnover. That's something that plagued this team during that losing streak, but much better job of Aaron and also Shannon Scott to take that shot.
Ronnie Johnson misses his jumper. And a foul going for the rebound is going to go against Ohio State. BTN goes where you want, when you want it with BTN to go, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. You can watch live hoops on your computer, your tablet, or your smartphone. To learn more, visit btntogo.com. It's also available in the App Store and on Google Play. This is the third of 4 games around the conference today. Eric Peck misses from deep. Already today, Michigan losing against Iowa. Hawkeyes doing it convincingly out in Iowa City.
Dominating. I mean, but it just shows you how funny this league is. Iowa, a tough loss at home. You lose to Ohio State, but you come back against a team that is playing pretty good basketball, and they totally dominate Michigan. I mean, dominate. Boy, Devin Marble was on fire. I mean, unbelievable the way he shot the basketball. So from game to game, week to week, you don't know what's going on in this league in regards to who is the team to beat. You know, I don't know. That can change in any discussion.
Devin Marble's making 6 3-pointers. Iowa's the team to beat. Shannon Scott, well, he may be the X factor for Ohio State. Normally not a great shooter from distance, but he bangs in a 3-pointer.
But think about this. He was Ohio State's, Scott was best player probably October, early November going into December. What happened? Confidence. But how many players do you know say, you know what, I'd rather come off the bench?
Good defense, Williams.
To help my team.
Stonewalling Hammonds. Now Scott, you talk about that confidence. He's made a couple jumpers in a row.
And it's amazing with Shannon. He's more relaxed. He's more confident. When he's in the game, he knows exactly what he wants to do.
Offensive rebound, Hammonds. Extra possession for the Boilermakers. Coming off a thrilling 3-overtime win on Wednesday against the Golden Gophers in Minnesota. Hammonds off balance, doesn't get the roll. Delavalli. Blocked away, Williams got it, and then Peck is fouled. Going after the rebound. Second personal foul on Amir Williams. Thad Matta may have a decision to make.
In transition right here, Amir Williams. But here's the thing about it, too. Purdue, the outlet pass was up far enough for Tyrone Johnson, 1 dribble, 2 dribble to get to the basket. That's what you want for Purdue. A lot of times point guards or guards will hold the ball instead of advancing it up, and it may take away a transition opportunity.
So Williams with the 2 fouls goes to the bench. He's replaced by Trey McDonald. Lenzel Smith also back into the game. Jay Simpson comes on for the Boilermakers. McDonald saves it from going out of bounds. Delavalli, Scott, McDonald, Smith, Loving, the 5 on the floor for Ohio State. Loving has the smaller Sterling Carter on him, and before the shot, he's fouled. Second foul on the senior Sterling Carter. That's now 6 team fouls on Matt Painter's Boilermakers. So the next team foul for Purdue will have Ohio State in the bonus.
Ohio State has to keep attacking, and that time excellent recognition of finding Loving inside with the mismatch.
Delavalli misses and may have taken an elbow. Jay Simpson had the rebound, was trying to create space, and they called the foul on Della Valle.
Well, and Simpson has to be careful with that. A rule of emphasis now is the swinging of the elbows. If any contact happens, where it did right there, the officials really could have called that and taken a look at that. As you see the elbow right there clearing space.
I don't think he actually ever got it.
Did he make contact?
I don't believe he did.
Okay.
Della Valle would be an expert on that, though. Ronnie Johnson back in to run the point over to his brother Tyrone Johnson. Also in the game for the Boilermakers, Sterling Carter, Jay Simpson, Eric Peck. Shot clock at 10. Ronnie Johnson going to work. Jay Simpson, top of the key jumper. Eric Peck, offensive rebound. And he comes up a little bit shy.
Ohio State got away with one right there, giving up another offensive rebound.
Quick shot for Loving. He misses it, but going for the rebound, Jay Simpson called for the personal foul. Little number 22. Forever in the rafters here. Got to be a good.
Just taking up space. That's all it's doing.
Come on.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Covering up like the little beams that shows right there. That's all it is.
During
like
that timeout, Amadeo Della Valle getting some tape on his elbow. There's his father, Carlo Della Valle, coming over from Italy and getting a chance to watch his son play. And how about that? Buckeye fans love to see Trey McDonald make free throws. Before that make, had been 8 for 26 at the free throw line.
Well, valuable minutes right now for Trey McDonald with Amir Williams picking up his second foul. You know, he has to solidify and kind of hold down the court. This young man has a skill set. He rebounds, he can block shot, he can knock down a 15-footer. So for Ohio State, valuable but important minutes right now for Trey McDonald.
Johnson. Over to Peck.
And so the good foot move that time of McDonald on Johnson.
Foul on McDonald, his second. So both McDonald and Williams with 2 personal fouls.
Well, good job of getting back in the paint. Maybe it's the 2 hands in the back. I think maybe the foul, but a little out of position, but excellent job of stopping ball and getting back to Simpson inside.
Now the 2 bigs for Ohio State, McDonald and Williams, in foul trouble. So the Buckeyes going small here. They've got a front wall of Mark Loving and LaQuinton Ross. Boilermakers go straight inside, and Peck got in the air with nowhere to go.
Yeah, turned baseline and got kind of caught behind the backboard. Jumped in the air, committed the cardinal sin, and just kind of threw it out to what he anticipated an open Boilermaker, but was not.
Sam Thompson back in for Ohio State, number 12 in white. Pass was tipped. Thompson saves it in the backcourt. Shot clock does not reset. Ross got bumped, makes the shot, chance for the 3-point play.
And that time it was a switch with Tyrone Johnson and Peck. But Peck was a half a second slow, which allowed now Ross to be able to get to the corner. And right here on the switch, he has to slide over and take this away because Tyrone Johnson is calling the switch. But watch how LaQuinton Ross gets right by him. So now the switch is nullified, it's gone. You know that Ross is a strong driver going to his right. Scouting report tells you that. So you have to kind of take that away. That time, poor defense, that time by Peck.
Boilermakers offense has stalled. They've made just 2 of their last 15 field goal attempts. Freshman Stevens inside. Oh, able to score the goal and absorb the contact. Normally just a 3-point shooter, but showing you there's more to his game.
We see Matt Painter, as you see Stevens driving the baseline. Again, when you're known as a shooter, that's when that drive becomes available. But if he continues to advance his game and has this kind of threat, now he's tougher to guard because you just can't picture him or scout him as being just purely a shooter.
Son of Everett Stevens, one of the greatest guards in Boilermaker history. Kendall Stevens, freshman out of St. Charles, Illinois. Motel 6th man. Last game, career highs in both minutes played and points scored. It was that triple overtime win against the Gophers. Bright future for Stevens. Thompson from distance. Bonus points for the Buckeyes. The 3 from the junior from Chicago.
Same thing, Iowa game, stepped up, hit shots with confidence. Now, Sam, when he knocks that shot down, it's a different play.
Hammonds inside without McDonald or Williams to bother him. Gets 2 more.
And why not continue to go to them? If you're Purdue, maybe you move him around in the post, but as soon as he gets anchored in, give it back to him.
Thompson blocked away by Hammonds. Good defense by the big man. Stevens a step inside the line. Lefty jumper, Smith. Now the Boilermakers looking to get in transition. Now they'll slow it up. Tyrone Johnson still hasn't scored. He's the leading scorer for these Boilermakers, yet he has not scratched in today's game. Ross rocked the cradle a little bit when he got in the lane to protect the ball. Now has 8 points.
That time, Ohio State just not locating where the Quentin Ross was in the actual ball, not stopping it early, allowed the flow of the Quentin Ross to just catch and drive right to the basket.
Lead is 9 for Ohio State. Johnson continues to struggle with his offense, and Loving is fouled by Hammonds.
And I wonder how much missing the 2 free throws against, you see the foul right here by Hammonds against Minnesota to kind of seal the deal before it went into the first overtime. Does it have a lingering effect? You see LaQuentin Ross in transition. That time, that's just too easy. Transition defense is built around. You have to build a wall. And that time, the lane was open for LaQuentin Ross just to probably make the easiest shot of the evening.
Tyrone Johnson has just gone to the bench after missing a couple of shots. The offense just not there right now.
Well, you can see the frustration on his face as he's sitting on the bench. You know, and sometimes it's hard to shake that off, from a confidence perspective.
Well, Tyrone Johnson's the type of guy, his game is getting in the lane, getting contact, making shots, making free throws, three-point opportunities.
But what happens, too, though, Eric, is that when you miss shots, you tend to squeeze a little bit and want to try to get it closer and closer. Then you start to aim the ball instead of shooting. And I think in that last baseline shot with Tyrone, he more so aimed it than really went up there with confidence knowing that he could make it.
Lane violation on Mark Loving. Got in the lane too early on that Hammonds free throw. So the big man will have another opportunity at this 1-and-1. That really goes down as a turnover. That was a missed free throw for Hammonds. Buckeyes had the rebound, but instead they keep Hammonds at the line. Now he makes the first. And splits the pair. Aircraft back into the game. Ross, long three-pointer. Pressure in the backcourt. Hammonds already has 7 points and 5 rebounds for Purdue.
And one thing, Hammonds better be a little bit more careful. That time he just slung the ball out. And it almost got stolen by Ohio State.
Scott finds Hammonds. And Loving is tied up by Rayfeld Davis. Alternate possession arrow keeps it with the Boilermakers. Matt Painter has been around this conference a long time. Was a player under Gene Cady. Has been a coach as the head man at Purdue for the last 9 years. And this is what he said about Aaron Craft earlier this year. He said he just wants Ohio State to win. You don't see a lot of kids like that anymore, where he just wants his team to win, and he'll do anything it takes. Now, what motivated Matt Painter to say that? the performance by Kraft December 31st at Mackey Arena. He had a day. 7 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists. Didn't turn the ball over once in 40 minutes. And oh, by the way, he had 4 steals.
Yeah, I know people talk about Aaron Kraft overload in regards to the telecast, and you mention his name a lot, but it's well warranted because the way he plays the game is kind of a throwback. He's a point guard that thinks about his teammates first in regards to setting up plays. I like to see him be more aggressive myself because he has that ability. But he takes pride in shutting down the opposing team's guard. He wants to play defense. He's a leader. And other coaches kind of envy that and wish they had a player of that caliber mentally, not just physically, but mentally on their team.
Boilermakers have struggled shooting the basketball. They started off pretty good, 3 of their first 5, but since then they've gone ice cold. Hammonds has the freshman Loving guarding him. This is Scott. Hands it off to Davis. Spins and gets it to fall off the window. Creative shot by Rayfeld Davis.
But you saw something interesting. Scott had a jump shot in the corner, and he turned it down. Now, he got to the basket and got Rayfeld Davis a bucket, but you see the mentality with Purdue not shooting the ball particularly well from the perimeter. Again, trying to get the ball closer. It worked out that time, but at some point, they're going to have to knock down perimeter jump shots if they want to win this game.
Sam Thompson, long pointer. Boilermakers down by a half dozen. Stevens, his second three-pointer. 9 first-half points for Kendall Stevens, coming off his career-high 14 on Wednesday. And a foul called on Scott, trying to stay in front of Aaron Kraft.
Once again, the closeout coming out from Sam Thompson because he had to protect the basket a little bit in transition. Got there a little late. And Kendall Stevens is smart enough to know, well, I'm going to keep my spacing because I know the ball is going to be reversed around to me. I can catch and shoot. Okay, I don't need to get closer. My range is extended beyond just the college three-point range. So you have to pay constant attention to where he's at on the court because he's the one guy for Purdue that can knock down shots. And if he gets hot, that just opens up a little bit more for Simpson and also Hammonds inside.
Kraft splits the 2 free throws. Stay tuned. State Farm halftime report coming your way in 2 minutes and 22 seconds of game time. Dave Redson, Steve Smith, Mike DeCourcy standing by in our Chicago studio. State Farm halftime report gets caught up on everything around the conference. A couple of good games already today. Spoiler alert. But Devin Marble had a day against Michigan and another close one, Northwestern and Nebraska. Sam Thompson, he's had a quick trigger in his first half.
They talked about Ohio State. They had a team meeting, aired out, dirty laundry, so to speak, took ownership. And I'm not a big fan of team meetings unless you get something productive out of it. And obviously, it worked for Ohio State. And I'll tell you what, Sam Thompson along with Shannon Scott look like totally 2 different players.
And Aaron Kraft had a steal for a moment, but he couldn't control the basketball. Ohio State's all-time leader in steals, the Big Ten's all-time leader in steals.
But you see the outside hand. You get taught that all the time because that allows you to reach just a little bit further. And deflections are as valuable as steals because now Purdue has to reset their offense, okay? And coaches around the league keep stats of the number of deflections a game.
Ronnie Johnson running the point for the Boilermakers. Stevens has Kraft on him. This is Hammond, blocked away by Ross. Stays with Purdue. Shot clock does not reset. And we've got a 3-second violation. Hammond's never got out of the paint.
And that's excellent defense by LaQuinton Ross, knowing that he was giving up the size. But A.J. Hammonds brings the ball down, which allows LaQuinton Ross to get that strip and steal.
So the Buckeyes have the ball and the lead. They're up by 7. Closing in on the 1-minute mark. Ohio State winning in West Lafayette December 31st. They won by 9 in that one.
Well, how about A.J. Hammond's guarding Sam Thompson so they can keep a quicker pack on the Quentin Ross.
This is Ross. Shot clock down to 9. Ross over to Kraft. Smith takes advantage of the man in the air and hits the jumper. 4 first-half points for Smith.
Nice little shoulder head fake. Got Davis in the air. 1 dribble pull-up. You work on it all the time, and it's a move when you're a shooter. That works.
Davis gets 3 back for the Boilermakers. That's a big shot here with less than a minute to go. State Farm halftime report coming up in a moment. Last possession of the first half, you'd assume, for Ohio State.
Yeah, for Purdue, you're up early. See if you can get a stop. Take some momentum at halftime in regards to only being down 6. For Ohio State, you score here, put up 8. Didn't start well, but you finished the half well. And that's what you want again. Purdue is a different team when they can do this. Excellent ball movement because you have to honor and respect Hammond's inside. And when you catch and shoot in rhythm, now you have a higher percentage to knock it down. And that was excellent spacing and passing by Purdue. You like to see more of that from the Boilermakers.
Rayfeld Davis was taken out of the starting lineup a couple of games ago. Not pouting, but performing coming off the pine in recent games.
Well, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, the team has struggled at times with continuity and winning basketball games. As a coach, Matt Painter has to try to figure out which 4, 5, 6 guys work together, continuity perspective, because the ultimate job is come in and do your job as a player so we can win games. And the coach's responsibility is to find the right combinations that work together in order to accomplish that.
I was wondering about the energy for Purdue coming off that 3 overtime game on Wednesday. They've had bounce in their steps. The energy hadn't been an issue.
They're young. What do you mean, Eric? You remember when you were 19, 20, you can go all day.
After the timeout, see what Thad Matta has drawn up. Ross contested 2.
Oh.
And that'll do it for our first half of play. Ohio State heading into the locker room with the lead, but only a lead of 6. Boilermakers putting up a fight here at Value City Arena.